we have mega powerhouse, mega community, just savant, just an ambassador of just anything hardcore and heavy and badass in the Pacific Northwest. We have powerhouse vocalist and influencer Duncan Allen from Hard Pill, Lesser Animal, and Black Church. What is up, Duncan?
You nailed it. You got all of them, man. You got all of them. Good, man. How you doing, Omar?
Dude, I am doing great, man. I think I'm pretty stoked that we get to talk and hang out, dude. We had a great time in Portland.
Oh yeah.
When me, you, Larissa, and Matt were judging the preliminary rounds in Bakken. And you know what was cool, man? I feel like me, you, Larissa, and Matt, we all kind of like became friends on like on a weird different level.
Yeah.
We're like we all really had to like put our brains together and give like some honest answers and honest feedback,
Oh yeah.
on music and all that. And I don't know, it was kind of a cool moment, you know what I mean? Because it's like up until that point, like I only ever hung out with Matt. I didn't know Larissa, I didn't know you, and it was like by the end of the day, it's almost like we were all kind of family because
Yeah. Yeah.
we were just constantly huddled over there. But before we get into your music and your origin, like what do you think about that battle?
It was awesome, dude. And like you said, it was a cool thing for us to kind of like meet and connect on because when we're like judging things or anybody's judging anything, you have to be very transparent and you have to be very honest. And it was really cool to see like who kind of had their own ideas and opinions about certain things that we could kind of bounce those off of each other. So
Yeah,
you guys would say things that I might have not have seen or wasn't thinking about, and then I could be like, oh yeah, like I didn't even think about that. Like that's a really good point. Like and just the way that we were able to like just kind of bounce each other's ideas off each other and criticisms as well. And then what we thought was good. And also we were like I wouldn't say confused about a certain things, but like we were kind of trying to figure out like, okay, are we judging this based on this? Are we judging this based on that?
yeah,
And it was really cool because we all had different views and we all kind of put them together. And I think we reached a better understanding of what we were actually supposed to be looking for. Yeah, and that's what I liked most is hearing everybody's like different opinions and criticisms and all that good stuff. It was awesome. The event itself was really cool. And
yeah, absolutely. Huge shout out to Mike and Jeff for putting it on with Bakken and inviting us out. It was Yeah, it was awesome, man. I think like kind of what you said, like we all were always mentioning things that we all couldn't kind of think of. We were kind of bouncing off of each other. And I just want to say like you, Larissa and Matt, you guys are all like three real people, man. Being in the back with you guys and talking and like talking music, it's like, man, we were all just like some adults just talking music and trying to be fair, and I just love that.
yeah, and I feel the exact same way, like I never even met I've heard a lot about you actually from a lot of people, and I know about Matt, but I'd actually never met either of you, and it was really like we hit it off right away. I felt like I was like, oh, like these guys totally get it, and they're on the same wavelength, and I also appreciated how like brutally honest you guys were, and you guys are clearly like music lovers. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So that was like the most important part. You have to be like someone who's gone to a lot of shows, played music, or not played music per se, but like, been involved in the music scene to actually have a real understanding. And it was very clear talking to both of you guys, like, oh wow, these guys like love music like I do, and they care about it like I do, and they see potential for people like I do. And that was just great. And me and Larissa have such a history with playing in a band together and knowing each other forever. And yeah, it was perfect. I felt like we all like mesh really well together. I think it was really a great group of people to judge that type of thing.
Yeah, no, I 100% completely agree, man. And I'm just looking forward to, seeing one of your bands live and just hanging out some more. But dude, since this is our first interview, instead of diving in and just being like, all right, genres of the bands, this and that, it's like I kind of want to figure out why Duncan is Duncan and why Duncan even decided to go down this path. I feel like a lot of times when we're kids, like we have like one of three influences. One, our family was into music.
Mhm.
Two, somebody handed us like a CD. Or three, or we went to like a concert. You know what I mean? Like, but there's a lot of areas. There's a lot of different influences. Like what do you think? Like I'm gonna ask you a secondary question, but before you got into doing music, what actually even sparked getting into music? Where it's instead of it becoming like background music or just listening to it, you're just like, oh man, like this CD's awesome or this music's sick. Like I'm on to something. Like, do you remember that first time kind of hitting your brain?
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I think the first time I ever heard music and like my ears kind of like perked up, like, and I know this is going to be cheesy, but it was actually when I got a Walkman with, and it came with the best of Elvis on there. So I was
That's awesome.
like that's all I had to listen to. So I was like, all right, well, this is cool. But then it wasn't until I heard the band Queen when that was like, whoa, like what is this? Because this is like, there's like, crazy symphonies and, all these choruses and harmonies and just lots of crazy stuff going on. So that's when my ears really perked up and they were like, what, like what is this? Like this, I didn't know you could do this with music. And then, it kind of goes in stages. Like I think for heavy music, I think the first time I heard Pantera's Far Beyond Driven, like that was really the thing where I was like, whoa, like what is this? Like this is what I really dig. Like I don't know what this is, but I really like this. Um, yeah, and I'd say those were like the first entry points as far as like understanding what music could be.
But I totally love that. Elvis. Yeah, I love Elvis by the way. But who was the first vocalist or musician that kind of inspired you to take the musician path? Because
Oh,
you taught us how you became a fan of music, hard music. But when was that transition in your brain where you're just like in your head, you're just like you were maybe singing their song and you're just like maybe I could do this. Like who was that first vocalist that kind of drove it home to you for you to not to transition? You know.
man. As a vocalist, uh, that's a tough one. That's a really big tough one.
Here's the thing. It doesn't have to be your favorite. Just the first one of the first people where
Yeah.
because one of the first because the thing is it's like we all have a lot, but I know there's that one band, even if it wasn't your favorite, that you listen to the most.
I mean, when I was a kid, I'd say like, I mean, if I have to be completely transparent and brutally honest, it'd be corn.
That's
Like,
awesome.
yeah, when it was like 1993, 94, I heard that and I was like, whoa, man, like this is vocals like I've never really heard before. And it's heavy and it's different and it's just way out there. And then as far as that, I think as far as drums go, that would probably be like Pantera's Far Beyond Driven. I heard those drums and I was just like, what? What's this double kick thing? Like what's going on here? That was those were like the first two things. I drum, obviously, and I do vocals. So I'd say like, yeah, Corn, believe it or not, was definitely like the first heavy thing that really was like, oh man, like this is really crazy. Like this is something that I really like and that inspired me a lot. The band all around inspired me big time.
Yeah, dude, that's absolutely sick, dude. I actually didn't know that you play drums.
Oh yeah. Yeah,
That's awesome.
I'm only the vocalist in Hard Pill. I'm the drummer in Lesser Animal and Black Church. And I know we didn't really talk about it, but I'm actually the drummer for American Me and Sacrificer as well. So,
Wow.
and it's like those are all different types of bands. So I've actually been playing drums for like 25 years. So I just started doing
Okay.
vocals with Hard Pill like 2 years ago. That's just like a brand new thing for me.
Oh, that's awesome, dude.
Yeah, dude.
Yeah,
Yeah, I guess we never talked about that. We never really got into that. But yeah, like drums are like my bread and butter for sure. Like that's like what I've been doing forever.
you ever try to do like the Under Oath or a Atreyu thing where you do both?
Yeah, I did do that. And I was in a band called Sustainer that I started with a couple people. And I did drums and then I do backing screams and stuff.
Oh, that's
Never
awesome.
never tried the singing aspect of it, like clean singing.
Yeah.
But Hard Pill actually did have a show where we had to let our drummer go, and then we had the show set up that was 10 days later, and we're like, well, we're still going to play it. So we just played as a three-piece, and I just hopped behind the kit and I just sang all the vocals while playing drums. So it actually worked out. And funny enough, that was the first show I played with Diseased and Depraved.
Okay.
Yeah, so that was actually the first time I met those guys. It was a weird situation, but yeah, that's actually the first show I ever played with them was that random show where we had to like make it work. You know what I mean? The show must go on type thing.
Dude, that's awesome, dude. Like you being in so many projects and just being in all sorts of scenes, dude. Like this is kind of a question I don't ask a lot, but it's a good one to ask you. It's like, what does music do for you mentally, dude, and emotionally, dude? Because to be in all these projects and all that, I feel like we all have a reason and a drive. Like like
Yeah.
you're a busy person and you're crushing it. And also, we haven't even gotten to the part where somebody shanked you. We'll get into that later.
Yeah.
But dude, like what does music mean to you? Like, in like a
Dude, I mean, in the, I don't mean to sound dramatic or like depressing, but like, dude, it's like the one thing, like I have my dog and I have a very happy life and everything's good, but it's like it's what keeps me living, It's like it's my drive. It's like the thing that I found, and it's like this is what I live for. So it keeps me alive, really, and it keeps me like focused, like and like keeps my head straight because I used to be like a big alcoholic and do drugs and stuff. I quit drinking like 2011 and
congrats, man.
quit doing drugs like years ago and I think that I just moved my like addiction from all of that over to music. So it's like it just keeps me my focus forward and like keeps my hands busy. That's really what it's about. So it's like it's a matter of just like surviving. Like that's the one thing that I really love and I know how to do adequately enough. Now I can't say good enough. That's a subjective thing. But yeah, it's really what keeps me alive and going. And that's it's
Yeah,
I feel like it's something I have to do no matter what. And I have to stay busy. Like I like to because like when you die, like it's whatever you did is what's left behind. You know what I mean? So it's like I want to just put out as much stuff as I can. And like I want that to be the testament to my life is like what did I do with music while I was still alive? So, and it's crazy. I made like a playlist of like all the songs I've ever done, and I think it's like over like 6 or 7 hours. It's crazy.
dude,
So it's like that right there is
that's beautiful.
it really is, man. It when I put together the playlist, I was just like, wow, like this is crazy to see it all just and and that's only stuff on Spotify. That's not counting like stuff that hasn't been uploaded to Spotify, bands that were before that era of the whole thing. So yeah, that's really what it's about for me, man.
Dude, I love it, dude. I feel like you're like you're the type of person I think who would be able to give like some good advice to like the kids coming up in the scene right now.
Oh yeah.
Like, the scene has changed a lot in like the last 20 years. And now like I feel like it's become really reliant on like standing out and being your own individual because there's so many bands and so many genres and also the amount of musicians that are insanely talented are like through the roof.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like just, you've been on all these projects, you've been playing all your life. Like for let's say like a 15-year-old came up to you and he was like a huge fan of Hard Pill, and he wanted to do something like you. Like, what would be a realistic advice you would give to him if he's like, I want to tour, I want to do this, I want to do that. Like, how
Well,
would like
what you just said is really what I would say to them. Stand out, like do
yeah
something different because my main complaint is with music nowadays is it's like there's a lot more like quantity over quality. And I'm not saying there's like music sucks now. That's not the thing I'm trying to say at all. I'm just trying to say there's a lot of bands like kind of copying each other's homework in a sense. You know what I mean? And we were talking about that. We were talking about that as we judged bands. There'd be
yeah
certain things where we'd be like, it seems like they're trying to sound like this or this. And if you want longevity and you want people to like latch onto you and stick with you, you got to like not ride a trend. You have to like you can like start that way, you got to find your footing as a musician. But like you have to branch out and you have to try new things and you have to like develop your own sound because that's how you survive and that's how you stay going like the long run. And that's the biggest piece of advice I could give as far as like writing and your sound goes. um as far as like some kid who wants to get into like touring, doing all that good stuff, I would say the most important thing is to learn everything yourself because there's no money in music anymore. In the sense of the actual sale of music itself. There's like streaming. It's like a big give and take. Like, yes, like any person can get on their computer and upload all their music to Spotify, right? But they're not going
yeah
to make like any money doing that. So it's like you have to find a way to earn the money that you would be spending on, let's say, recording with someone, printing merch, renting a tour van, like all that stuff. It's just like you're just hemorrhaging money. So it's like if you can
yeah
learn how to do all of these things and like figure out a way to like learn all the traits that you pay for, that's how you're going to really survive. You know,
yeah
that's the biggest thing because in the end, it's like if you don't, you're just shelling out money to people and you're not making any type of profit and you can't reinvest it into your band. That's the biggest thing, honestly.
Yeah, no, I agree, dude, and I agree on like the sense too, where like I feel like you have to do it for the right reason first, and don't do it for the wrong reason first. You
Oh
know, and
yeah.
I feel like a lot of times like people cause themselves stress in a band by just like overthinking the entire thing. Where it's like, hey guys, if we love this, people will follow along and see that we love it, and it all works on its own. You know, but and also, I like with you, I tell people to like take chances in their styles because some of the most famous musicians and long-lasting musicians and vocalists are the highest criticized,
Yeah.
It's like, oh well, hey, we don't like Cyndi Lauper. Yeah, but Cyndi Lauper's killing it. You
Yeah,
know what I
or like,
mean?
Serge Tankian from System of a Down. Like nobody
Yeah,
sounds like that guy. Like
dude,
nobody,
and
and it's like
it, and
when
the,
you hear him,
yep,
you know that's him. And that's like that's what you got to do. It's like you have to when someone hears it, you go, "Oh, that's System of a Down. That's this guy." Like you need to like really etch yourself in stone and make yourself like separated from the pack in a way, you know?
yeah. No, dude, I 100% agree, dude.
No, see, it's spot on. It makes everything you say, just, yeah,
Yeah,
makes
no,
perfect sense.
yeah, no, it's yeah, and one of the things I always talk to a lot of artists is like kind of what you're saying, you have to learn how to do everything. It's like you basically have to be a musician slash content creator, like slash everything. And you know what's crazy? What I noticed, Duncan, about like when we used to go to Ozfest and stuff when we were younger, bands never used to charge for meet and greets back in the day. I used
Yeah.
to meet, they would even give out free posters. You
Yeah.
know what I
Yeah.
mean? I remember
I,
going to Ozfest and
yeah.
I'd meet Lacuna Coil, Unearth,
Yeah.
Trivium, all these bands for Five Finger Death Punch before they were big, Slipknot before the big, all free and all
Yep.
big. But the thing is, it's like, but also back in the day, I used to leave Ozfest with like 8 CDs,
Yep.
and like an Ozfest sampler and all these things, and nowadays it's like, it's insane. Like to make a profit, you really have to go out of the ordinary to do anything. You know what I mean? Because like Matt Heafy, he does Twitch, but he
Yeah.
admits that he makes more on Twitch than he does on tour.
Of course he does. Yeah, that makes sense. And it also makes sense because with Twitch, it's like what are your startup costs? Like you need like a router, you need internet, you need a computer, you need a mic, that's all like very small in the grand scheme of like a full-on tour. Where like
Yeah,
they need like transportation, they need a crew, they need to have merch drop shipped to them if they run out. Like all that stuff costs so much gasoline, hotels, like the expenditure is crazy. Whereas like if you're just sitting here doing this, like you can just get donations from people and you can make money from sponsorships and stuff like that. So that's the biggest thing. Honestly, like that's a big thing too. It's like you need to be like prevalent on the online, and that's how
yeah,
I'm in Sacrificer and my guitarist Taylor Danley is like a renowned YouTube guy now. He's almost has like 100,000 subscribers, and
that's awesome.
that's it. That's what he does. That's what he does for his job. That's his job. He supports two children, a wife, and a mortgage payment, and he does just that, And it's
That's
impressive.
amazing.
He has his own pedals now. He has his own like custom guitar. He has his own amp modelers. It's nuts, dude. Like, and I remember the guy just starting it in like 2000 and oh God, it was like 2017 or 2018. And it took him a couple years, but like once COVID came around, like he really like kept going and yeah, he's just completely moved it. He doesn't work a job that is his job. So he went from
Yeah,
yeah,
I was just gonna say that COVID was the gold rush for YouTube,
yeah. It was
and because during COVID I got my start,
yeah, yeah, that was
I
it.
start yeah I started doing YouTube in 2020, and now it's like it's literally a part of my life.
Yeah, nobody can, I saw your subscriber count too, man. It's really impressive. Like, what do
Well,
you got? Like 24?
no, no,
No?
I'm at 18.
You're at 18 and you said you want to get to 20K by 2026, right?
Yeah, but we're averaging about 1,000 a month, so we're gonna
Yeah,
get
so I
there.
mean, you're going to get there fast, you know what I mean? Like by the end of the
Yeah,
year, you'll probably be at
but
25.
it's a lot of hard work, and I always tell people like don't like with anything in life. Like here's the thing: everybody says everything in life's easy, right? They say, oh, making videos is easy, doing this is easy, but the difference between saying it's easy and actually doing it is a massive gap.
Yeah.
Because everybody says they can do things that's easy, but they don't actually do it, you know? And like with YouTube, dude, like, dude, I'm 1,097 videos in, and you got to think about it takes about an hour of video to record, edit, and upload. So in just videos alone, I put in 1,100 hours,
Yeah.
you know? And,
Yeah.
and I always tell people like you know, I always try to tell my nieces and nephews, I was like, look, if you love something right now, it may not paying off right now, but in like 20 years or something, when you still love it, instead of just like it's gonna pay you without you even wanting it to do anything for you, you know? It's
Yeah.
like I feel with anything in life, if you put enough love and positive energy into it, it eventually blossoms, you know, and you benefit the fruition off of it.
And also the thing is that like you just mentioned with like how many videos you put out is consistency. Like you have to be consistent. You have to be constantly, making sure that you're developing things and putting it out because you'll get lost in the storm real quick if you just kind of fall off. And that's the biggest thing that I've seen with Taylor and obviously you is like you have to stay on a schedule and keep it coming, man. And it seems like arduous and like very large at the very beginning. But as long as you can get into a workflow and a rhythm and you can get it going and stuff, you just like you said, you got to stick to it. But it's like the thing is people want instant gratification and instant reward and they want to be paid instantly and just quit their job. And that's not how it is. You got to grind it first. But once that grind becomes routine, like you said, you'll get paid without even wanting it. It just comes to you, but you have to be consistent. You have to deliver a product that people want to see and seek out. You know what I mean? You have to be like
Yep.
smart about
So
the content you create.
exactly. And one of my friends made this comment to me while we were in Reno. He's all, you know, a lot of stuff can be saturated, right? Well, the thing is that you can say the word saturated about a lot of things in life. You know, we've been, you know, there's things that have been done over and over and over, but it all boils down to what we were talking about in the beginning is be yourself in that originality. You know what I
Mhm.
mean? Because
Yep.
everything in life is saturated. There's fucking all these. Oh, sorry, I just said the F bomb. Sorry.
Oh,
By the way, sorry guys. But I'm saying there's restaurants. Restaurants are saturated. Burgers are saturated. Pizza is saturated. But you know what? The best burgers and the best pizza stands out, dude.
no, you're right, man. You're right, and that's what I'm saying. It's like a
Yeah.
healthy balance of quality, consistency, and just like delivery. And if you got to do all three of those things, and it's like as long as you can stay on top of it and your product doesn't diminish, that's the most important part. You can't get like once you reach a certain point, you have to just keep going up a little bit more. You can't go to the other direction because that's just it's a big give and take. And people once they get used to a certain level of professionalism or certain level of delivery, they're going to expect that, and you can't skimp on that. So it's like, but that's also like it sounds like I said, arduous and like difficult. But as you start to learn the different ins and outs of everything, you can kind of get better at it and like upgrade your product. Like that's just how it goes.
Yeah. Yeah. No, I think about it in a way of like, don't be comfortable with complacency.
Yep.
You
Yep.
know, because the thing is, complacency can be used in a lot of things. You could be on a diet and lose 10 pounds and feel good, and then be complacent, and then all of a sudden you start ruining your diet. You could
Yeah.
you could be sober off drinking, and then be at a point in your brain where you're just like, you know what, I have control of it. You become complacent, you start going back down. You get one big video or one big show, you get all high off of it, you can get complacent, and you start going back down.
Yeah, 100%. And it's like you have to also like it's important to celebrate your successes, but
Yes, absolutely.
you have to like be like, okay, I've celebrated this. Now what's next? Like that's like your mindset you have to do is like what's next? Like I'll play a great show with hard pill and then I'm like we'll finish everything off and have a great night, smoke a bunch of weed or whatever and just like have a great time. But then like first thing I do when I get home after unloading everything out of the car is I hop on socials and like boom, where were we tagged, what videos are out, what posts are out, reshare, tag all the band members, get a new post going, make sure we get the photographs from the show, get a post ready for tomorrow, get all that takes like 2 hours, 2.5 hours, and then go to bed. And then it's like, I'm not out here like renting a hotel room, like partying and stuff. Like that's, we have our fun. And then it's like, all right, now I have to like get all this stuff prepared for the next day and, get everything ready, And that's like,
100%. It's what Arnold Schwarzenegger says. You work hard and then you advertise. You work hard and then you advertise. you
Yep.
know,
Yep.
and yeah. So no, dude, I absolutely love it, dude. So far, incredible interview. We got about 5 to 6 minutes left. We're gonna keep going. You know what? I love talking to you, man, because it feels like we're just conversating. This is awesome, dude, and I love that.
Yeah.
What right now, what are some of your favorite bands right now that you think are kind of like make an impact in the scene? Like who are some bands you're seeing currently, and you have that feeling? You know, it could be a local band. It doesn't have to be your band. And where you kind of see them, and you're just like, dude, I think they can get somewhere. Do you have any bands like that, like
I have
in your scene?
multiple
Yeah,
bands like that. Yeah, like Asatis, they're from Portland. I think I'm saying it right. They're probably my favorite metal band in all of Portland. They're crazy, dude. They're like pushing the boundaries as like hard as you can with that genre. I would say Lesser Demons, they're amazing. They're kind of like new wave prog. I wouldn't say prog rock, but like progressive something. I don't know what it is. Maybe progressive post rock. They're really great. Never Sunny is a great pop punk band that's actually doing it the correct way. Like you said, everything's saturated, but these guys like just stick out to me. Um, I'd
well,
say,
by the way, I didn't say everything was saturated. My friend said everything was saturated, and
oh
I had to correct them on it. I was like, baby, it could be saturated, but you got to be original.
yeah,
Continue.
but your friend is right. Your friend is right. It is saturated, but you're right. You're right too. You got to be original to like stand out from that saturation. And then I'd say like Sandcrawler is a great doom band from here. Steak Sauce Mustache is one of my favorite bands we've toured with. Gas Pack, they're from Oregon. There's just a ton of bands out there that are just like crushing it right now and really standing out from like the rest of the herd, you know? And like
I
just
love it.
everybody's doing great right now in Portland. There's a lot of amazing music coming out.
Dude, I love that. I love that. One more serious question before we get to the fun questions and then the interview. What is your goal with all your projects this year? With Hard Pill, with Lesser Animal, with Black Church? Like, what are some goals maybe for you or for the bands that you're trying to do differently this year?
I would say for Hard Pill, I can actually break this down between each band pretty easily. For Hard Pill, like we want to play more festivals, bigger, better shows, and we want to really step up our. We're doing a full length, so that's the big thing we really want to focus on with that, like our full length release, because we've done EPs and singles, and we want to actually. I know that the whole industry says not to do that, but we want to actually put out a full length that's like front to back. You're supposed to listen to it. You know, I would say Lesser Animals is just get on more shows because now that I'm in not now, but I'm in all these bands. I've had to like kind of talk to my bandmates and be like, yo, we need to like compartmentalize like duties. Like I can't book shows for three bands and I can't do this. I have to like we certain people need to take the reins. So with
Mhm.
Lesser Animal, it was definitely be like just playing bigger, better shows, more shows. And then with Black Church, I would say definitely the same thing as Lesser Animal, but also like music videos, locking down a couple more music videos that we're going to be doing and stuff, and just kind of upping our recording. That's really really it, honestly, for those three, and yeah, yeah.
I love it, dude. Well, Mr. Duncan Allen, I want to thank you so much for being on the Metal Mixtape. You have been awesome. Please listen to. Can they find Hard Pill and Lesser Animal and Black Church on all social media sites?
Yeah, yeah, everything is, whatever. I think if you're actually going to look it up, I think it'd be like Instagram.com/hardpillpdx, Instagram.com/lesseranimalpdx, and then Instagram.com/black period church, and then church has a V in it. And then
Okay.
that's probably the best way to like find all that stuff. And then
Okay.
follow on Spotify and everything like that.
All right. Sounds good.
Dude, I found it pretty much everything you said, like when it comes to your answers and stuff like that, was just very informative. So it just I was kind of sitting back here trying to pick up on what I could and all that, and
Yeah.
store it up here.
Yeah, man. The biggest thing that I can say for bands coming up is print your own merch. Get a press, print your own merch because that's where you're gonna make your money and also save your money. That's the biggest thing I could
And
tell.
no, 100%. In my band, Insanity's Reign, we printed all of our own merch, dude, and we were literally sitting on like 300 shirts every time we'd play anything. We'd have because the thing is, we'd have our pin our own designs. So at one point, dude, we'd have like 15 different shirts, dude.
Yeah, yeah.
But it's because, like you said, you learn how to make all your art, your designs. You learn the programs. You sit down and it's really not all that hard. You know what I mean? Once you sit down and learn it a little bit, just about like certain fonts and file types and all that, and you realize that you can get really. Then also, like, you're not on time constraints. You know what I mean? Like you can get stuff done when you want it, and waiting on somebody and pushing somebody to help you out is like the hardest thing, especially if it's not their project. So
Yeah,
100% on that.
and you don't have to order a bunch of extra sizes you don't need. You can like order exactly what you need and exactly what you need to press, and then that way you're not like sitting on like 20 small shirts, and then you have like no extra larges. You know what I mean?
Yeah, dude, 100%. All right, dude. Before we end the interview, we're gonna ask you 3 fun questions. Are you ready?
I'm ready. Let's go.
Okay, Josh, first one.
All right. Well, if you could pick your death by any, famous horror villain or horror character, who would you pick and what would it be? How would you want to die?
Who would I pick to kill me? Any horror person?
Yeah.
And how would they do it?
Man, you know what? I'd probably go with Freddy Krueger because I would be asleep and dreaming, so I wouldn't technically feel it except in my dream. And then I'd probably have him just, man, I don't know, getting swallowed by him would be pretty cool, like that one chick did in the movie. Like
Yeah, number 3.
yeah, number 3. I'd go with that. Just because I'd be dreaming and I would. I'd feel it. Yeah, exactly. And that's the Dream Warriors, right?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, that's the best one in my opinion. Well, the first one's amazing too. But yeah, I would go with my dream for sure because that's like I would, I'd feel it, but I wouldn't feel it.
All right. This is a double question for me since you're a multi-musician. If you could sing in a band for a day and play drums for a band in a day, 2 different bands, any bands in the world, who would you want to sit in for?
Oh, that's easy. Vocals would be Botch, and then drums would be Refused.
I love it. Yeah, I saw you posted about Refused. You had a blast, dude.
Yeah, dude, I just
I'm
saw
gonna have to check them out.
Dude, Shape of Punk to Come is the greatest record of all time in my humble personal. It's my favorite record of all time. I can't say it's the best record, but that if you want to hear a record, young kids out there, that's gonna shape everything for you, that is unbelievable. It came out in 1998, and you got to keep that in mind when you're listening to it. 1998. It's absolutely insane.
I love, you know what I love about you, Duncan, is that you can give a straight answer. Because the thing is, I know my favorite album of all time. It's City of Evil by Avenged Sevenfold.
Oh my God, that album is so good. I love that, dude. The drumming on that is absolutely insane.
Oh, Jimmy the Rev Sullivan, rest in peace, dude.
Dude, everything about that record is perfect. I actually love that record. Like, it's one of my favorite records.
Dude, Burn It Down, Blinded in Chains, Seize the Day, MIA, Strength of the World, Betrayed, Thrashed and Scattered. It's all good.
That album brings me back to a particular time in life, and I remember when they were still playing those videos on MTV.
Yes.
Sitting with my homies and watching it, and it was just.
And you know what? A lot of people hated Matt Sanders' voice. You know what I mean? But everybody hated the whole I, but you know what? It stood out.
Dude, I love it. I love the riffing on that. Like, it's really an incredible record. That record specifically by them is my favorite by them.
You know what's awesome is that when you listen to interviews and stuff, they used to like worship like AFI and like NoFX.
Yeah.
And they're like, and I remember watching like old Baby Havoc videos of how awesome and hardcore it was, those like basement shows, dude.
Yeah, dude. And that's like Metallica. Metallica loves like Misfits and like, all that stuff.
I love Misfits, yeah.
They're big like TSOL. Like they're big like
yep.
guys. It's funny when you hear what these guys like, you're like, oh wow, like that's really cool. Like, I never, I didn't expect that by listening to your music, but now it makes sense as I go back and listen to it.
I like it. I like it. Last question. If you could pick any weapon to destroy the zombie horde, but it can't be a nuke or the cure, what is your one weapon?
Oh man.
You have to protect your dog, man.
Flamethrower.
Flamethrower?
I love a flamethrower, man. A flamethrower is a good one. Or a car. Big SUV, big Ford Bronco, just driving through them all. That's satisfying. Or like maybe like the military vehicle from Aliens,
I like it.
Yeah.
There you go.
Yeah.
I don't know. I'd probably get like that. That what is that like in the movie Armageddon? The big 4-wheelers they have.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Yeah, I think it had a minigun.
Yeah, that was, dude, I love that movie. I was just talking to my friend about that movie actually. Like I saw that in theaters.
Yeah. Oh God, dude.
Yeah.
Dude, when Ben Affleck asked Liv Taylor to marry him, dude, or when Bruce Willis is like, protect my girl now.
Take
It's
care
your
of my
duty
baby
now.
girl or whatever he says.
I
Yeah.
love you.
And
I
then
love
he
you.
like then he dies and everything's like flashing before his eyes, like her as a
Yeah.
kid and all that stuff. Oh, dude, it kills me every time, man.
Kids will never know what we went through.
Yeah, or Independence Day, man. That or I think like Jurassic Park, Independence Day, like those movies. I remember watching in theaters, just like my jaw dropped completely. Just like what? Like this is insane.
Independence Day was amazing for the time.
Oh, dude, I still stand by the first half of that movie. The second half is great too, but like the first half of that movie is still amazing. Like you don't see that level of death and destruction normally in like a film like that. Like there's real population losses in that film, you know?
There really is. There really
Uh,
is.
well, Duncan, I appreciate you taking time out of your day to hang out here on the Metal Mixtape. Duncan Allen from Lesser Animal, Black Church, and Hard Pill. Check him out on all social medias. This guy is always producing music. Last but not least, Duncan, can you say this is Duncan Allen and you are listening to the Metal Mixtape?
This is Duncan Allen, and you're listening to the Metal Mixtape.
Dude, you rock. And for anybody who missed the interview, this will be on YouTube. Mañana. Duncan, you're awesome. I love you. We're gonna end this with
Oh,
Fence Walker by
real
Hard
quick.
Pill. One more thing. Go
One
ahead.
thing. My band Hard Pill has a single coming out May 13th called Clipped Wings. And it's about I know we didn't get to this, but it's about the stabbing that happened to me. I almost died on
Oh,
December 8th. So I just wanted to
and okay. Well, so tell us in
I got
60 seconds.
time. I got time. I got no problem. We can do it real quick. I almost got murdered on December 8th by an unprovoked attacks. This lady at work took a knife and just randomly she just got super violent. We were always super kind and cordial with each other. We never had an issue, but she just wanted to kill somebody basically. And she has a violent history and she just chose me that night and she came up behind me and stabbed me twice in the back and then three times in the side and collapsed my lung. And I died, dude. I like literally died like for like about a minute. And the ambulance got there and they revived me in the ambulance and got me to the OR room and stitched me up and took me like solid 2.5 months for me to finally recover and get my lung back in working order and stuff. But Clipped Wings is a music video that we shot and a song we wrote about the hate and anger that that incident made me feel and everything. And dude, it's gonna be gnarly. 18 and plus only, kids. You don't want to see this unless you're above the age of 18.
Get consent by your parents.
Dude, for real. There's gonna be warnings before it, but yeah, please check that out. May 13th. Pre-saves all over our socials and stuff. I just wanted to say that real quick.
Well, I'm happy. I'm happy you're alive and with us, man, and you're a blessing to
Yeah,
the
most
state.
definitely.
And we're gonna end this with Fence Walker by Hard Pill. Give me 15 seconds about this song.
Fence Walker is just about basically people that are fence walkers, like people that will make excuses for people while having complete POSs in their life, and just people that don't stand by their morals or associate with just garbage ass people. That's really what it is.
Dabbing that out. Easy. All right, all right, Duncan. Thank you so much for being
Thank
on the Metal
you.
Mixtape. I'll talk to you
Thanks, Omar.
later. Later, brother.
Take care.
Later, bro.